Bennett is the featured back. Anders, the fullback. Bennett straight up the middle. Donnell Bennett to the Raider 36.
Boy, I'll tell you, Kimble Anders, number 38, gets a sensational block, and that hole is there.
Bennett. Touchdown.
Donnell Bennett, second effort, gets in for 12-yard touchdown, 21-3. Remember when it was a grinded-out offense that Kansas City had? Kimble Anders, touchdown. Kimble Anders, touchdown Chiefs. Second touchdown for Kimble Anders.
Third down and 7 from the 45. Straight drop by Gerback, flips it out to Anders. Can he get the first down? Yes, and a lot more inside the 40. He's got one man to beat, veers across the right side, and Kimble Anders stretches for the touchdown. 55 yards.
Welcome into 13-second offense, everybody. Just kidding. I mean, as great as that drive is, this is 4-minute offense. Noah Groniger alongside Clint Schweitzer. The stars of the show down there, Kimble Anders, Donnell Bennett, and our man, our Chiefs fan, Hot 103 Jams, The Morning Grind with Shay and Shine. That is Brian B Shynin. Kimble, I got to start with you. What did you make of that Bills game? The greatest game ever?
I think so. That was the best game I ever seen. I was being part of watching it anyway. I know we had some great moments during our time, but that's probably one of the best games I've ever seen in my life. I mean, just the way, the funny thing about it, football, what I appreciate about it the most, just when you started was coaching, you couldn't find out it's the players. And that's one thing. The players got to play the game. So, the last series, what happened, what I found out a day or two later, like, I can see that, though. So, that's the beautiful thing about the game. Well, players make plays. That's the only way you can do it on the field.
Well, we're also pleased to be joined by former Chief and former Bengal, Vaughn Booker. Vaughn, what's up? You're right in the heat of battle here. We've got a choice to make, and I know we know where your heart lies, my man, but we've got Chiefs Bengals coming up this weekend. You played for both teams. First off, just kind of talk about what it was like playing for both franchises and kind of what you see coming up here on Sunday at Arrowhead.
First of all, I mean, as far as organizations, I just personally feel like the Chiefs organization is one of the best in the whole NFL. So in comparison, when I played for the Bengals, it was like night and day. I assume they fixed some things around there because they get some quality players that want to come to Cincinnati now, and they're actually a good team this year.
Yeah, and Donnell, I want to go to you and kind of your thoughts on that Bills game. What you saw, I mean, Patrick Mahomes, 13 seconds left on their own 25-yard line and 2 timeouts. Game's over, right? No, not with Patrick Mahomes. Not so fast, my friend. They get in field goal range, go to overtime, win the coin toss, win the game. I mean, the emotions, man, it's just got to be ecstatic.
Yeah, it was good, man. It was fun to watch, man. A lot of good football, a lot of good coaching. You getting guys second guessing, saying, okay, you shouldn't have kicked the ball into the end zone. But I say, I feel like Andy Reid and them guys probably had one of them plays set up where they lateral it and do all that crazy stuff. So either way you go, you still got to go out there and win the game. I mean, the only turnover Josh Allen had was the flip of the coin. If the flip of the coin was the other side, it could be different. But that's a part of the game. And we petitioned after it happened to us 2 years ago to change the rules. And nobody listened to us. So, and then if we were on the good end of it this year, so that's a part of the game, man. I don't even believe in all that stuff. I think the game should always be decided on the people on the field. I don't think we should bring in outside, replays and all this stuff. If somebody get it wrong, they get it wrong. That's a part of the game. They told us don't let the refs be a part of the game.
Yeah, and Brian, just going to you, just what were your reactions, emotions after watching that game? I mean, it comes down, Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes are playing so well, 25 points by both teams in the last 2 minutes. I mean, just kind of your emotions after that.
Man, the stars came to play. We said it in the pregame. Your stars got to come. 15, he came to play. 10, he came to play. 87, he was there. 95, he made an impact. The defense, it It's Josh Allen, man. He has something to prove. He's a superstar like Patrick is, but fortunately, your quarterback is good, but ours is better. And I think the Chiefs stars really came out and shined. I want to make one note though. I don't think that game goes that way if Tyrann Mathieu is in the game. I really don't. I think he makes more of an impact on that defense than we know. I think we know it now because of the result of the game, but with the way that Josh Allen was able to go down and slice and dice, thanks to my man Armani Watts, he was getting in there, but I think he was a little befuddled on some of those plays. So hopefully the defensive backfield could come back in the AFC Championship game versus the Bengals, but the superstars came out and shined.
Vaughn, I want to go to you on this because obviously the Chiefs defense faced a tall challenge there, trying to contain a Josh Allen who's just so deadly with his legs. He led his team in rushing, as did Patrick Mahomes. But Josh Allen at 6'6", the way he's able to get outside the pocket and move, get downfield. He doesn't just run for first downs. He runs for 20, 30 yards downfield.
Right.
As a defensive tackle, these days, quarterbacks are in the shotgun. There's no under center 7-step drops to get pressure up the middle. As a defensive tackle, how much has that changed these days where someone like, a Chris Jones or Jaron Reed trying to stay disciplined, stay in their lane, try to contain, not only play the run, but understand that this quarterback could take off at any minute, and he's 6'6", he's way faster than you, and what exactly do you do there, right?
I know it's a big difference from when I played. The defensive line position has grown tremendously. It's like we have a lot of junior Derek Thomas's playing, these days, whereas opposed it was rare to have a Derek Thomas. But these guys, I think our front guys, they get after the ball pretty good. As far as the run, I just don't like the way we sometimes start the game off slow. I would prefer we just be in the locker room before the game and just hit each other for a quarter, just so we can be prepared at the beginning of the game. But football overall has changed. Rules have changed. The game is more exciting, still offensive based. So these guys have adjusted well, and I think we have one of the best D linemen in the league in Chris Jones.
Yeah, and Kimble, I want to go to you on the offensive side of the ball and kind of the run game, what you saw out of the addition of Clyde Edwards-Helaire coming back from injury. Of course, Jerick McKinnon was in there. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I think he has 7 runs for 60 yards. What did you see from him coming back and the run game as a whole?
I think that's a great comeback for him. As you see, when we run the ball, you be much better on the offense side of the ball. I think they still should get the ball in his hand more, get the ball in running back hands a little more with the run game, and getting that back as a tool. I mean, it's definitely a weapon that you can have, because if you're able to run the ball, you set it up for everything else. And so I think, the focus should be moving forward, trying to get whoever in that backfield more totes and running the ball particularly, because they got the right system to make sure the gaps are there. I mean, and they set it up really good the way they do their offense. And it's a tricky offense. It's pass-oriented lead now. But at the same time, I still believe you got to establish a run game.
Yeah, and Donnell, to you, I want to kind of go more on the Jerick McKinnon route. We saw late in the game, there was a nice screen there by Patrick. He had to pump it, hold it a little bit for the line to get a little closer to him so he could get it over him, get it to Jerick, and he goes down the sideline for a huge gain. What have you seen out of Jerick McKinnon, especially the tail end of the season where he's coming up big?
Yeah, I like his play. He's almost like a fourth or fifth receiver on the field, man, because he's so dynamic in the passing game. Then you can motion him back to the backfield and give yourself a chance to really see what they're trying to do on defense. So, I like it, man. I think Clyde came in and, he has some fresh legs there for some nice sparks into the offense, man. And he looked good. He looks quick, fast, explosive, ready to go. So I think moving forward, like Kimble said, man, we need to find a way to make sure both of those guys get a good amount of touches.
Do you guys ever just kind of look back and look at what's happening and just marvel in what's happened here? Because Patrick Mahomes now has 8 playoff wins since joining the Chiefs in 2018. I think the Chiefs had 4 between 1970 and 2015, guys. It's incredible. You guys were all on great teams over the years in Kansas City. Do you just look back at that and you know how hard it is to win in the playoffs? You guys have all been there and had suffered heartbreaking losses, and that's with a great head coach like Marty Schottenheimer. Do you just look at this, Vaughn, and say, This is, do you never see anything like this? I mean, how do you feel when you relate it to your own career and how hard it is to win in the playoffs to how easy Patrick Mahomes is making it look?
Once again, I just know that the game has changed. When we were playing, going to the playoffs, it was almost a given for us. We were a pretty good team. We knew we were good. We knew our defense was good. We had great running backs in Donnell and Kimble to, complement Marcus Allen. So, and in comparison, today's game is faster, it's more exciting. Patrick is unbelievable. I'm a number one fan of Patrick Mahomes, so I'm serious. When the people here in Cincinnati come around me, I don't allow no Bengal people in my house. Not even my son. My son can't even come over to the season over. So, I take it very seriously. I dare my neighbors to mess with my house because I got my flag out there. But, the game is different. It's more exciting. Patrick Mahomes and Eric Bieniemy and the plays that they put together is just incredible. I'm just a true fan of today's team.
And Brian, kind of going to the fan perspective, longtime fan perspective, you're right there with Clint and myself. What does this mean to you? A fourth straight home AFC championship game? I mean, it's impossible, right? We grew up. We've been through the heartaches of all the years, through the 90s, the 2000s. I mean, what's going on right now? How great is this team and how are they doing it?
Well, first off, Von Booker, just give your son one of those old red and gold 99s, man. He'll convert. But I think that we need to cherish what we have right now, man. The 60s was the golden age of Chiefs football, those early Super Bowl teams. And then, now I think this is the golden age now. I really do. So I think we gotta drink up as much of this as possible because this is unprecedented. 4 straight at home. Seriously, first quarterback ever to do it. Andy Reid, we've seen him do it in Philadelphia before. But we really got to take this in, enjoy it, soak it in, buy all the merchandise, get all the Super Bowl shirts you can get all the banners. Well, if we make it to the Super Bowl. But, if we do, just buy everything, enjoy it, live in it, bask in it, because I'm certainly doing it.
Kimble, you guys were a part of a team. This is before Donnell got there, 93, 94. You guys beat the Buffalo Bills during that 93 season. And you got to go on the road to Buffalo. It's frozen, and it's January of 94. Joe Montana, famously, the head hits off the turf, and he's knocked out of the game. What's the mindset for a team like you guys, and what the Bengals might be facing here this Sunday? In that you beat a team at home during the regular season, but when you go on the road, it's a completely different animal, and you're up against a team that's been there and done it. Whereas, like in 93, just like the Bengals now, they hadn't been there. They were fresh. They were green as grass, as they say. What do you think that mindset's going to be like for them? Similar to what you guys had, right?
It's very similar. I mean, the situation is now it's a different season. It's the playoffs, and that's what it's all about. And you don't have an opportunity once you make a mistake of losing the playoffs. You one and done. So since the urgency to everything they do, and coming in and trying to win in Arrowhead, as the Chiefs has proven that they've been proven winners in Arrowhead, that's going to be a very hard task for them to do. And especially the way right now, the way we playing. I love what we're doing now overall and coming together and making plays and learning how to win. And one thing about being a champion, I feel that the Chiefs know how to win. And we know that they've been proven to win in tough situations, tough games when they get close like that. And they proved that last week that, no matter what the situation was, it wasn't too big for them. And that's what separates.
We lost you there, Kimble, for a second. Guys, when it comes down to it, you also have the Rams and Niners here, Donnell. So this is kind of a crazy situation for the Chiefs because they played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in their home stadium last year. They played the San Francisco 49ers in Super Bowl 54. So you either get a rematch of Super Bowl 54 or you play another team in their home stadium. How crazy is that? And who do you see coming out of that NFC side this weekend?
Man, it's gonna be crazy, man. You want to go with the Rams because of that defensive line, but it's San Fran got something we don't know about. I mean, to go into a game that magnitude and win on 3.
Yeah. They got Debo. That's what
special teams play. Now, Debo's a dude now. He's a bully. Don't get me wrong, but it's something special about that team. I don't know what it is, man. I'm gonna go with the Rams because that's what the game tells me to do, man. But I wouldn't. I mean, that defense in San Francisco, and the resolve of that team, like you gotta be looking out for them, bro.
Hey, Donnell, I'm right with you, fam. It's something about that Niners team. It is Deebo Samuels. It is Kittle. But that defense, Fred Warner, 97 coming off the edge, Bosa. That defensive line is ferocious. They got athletic linebackers. It is something special about that defense. The defensive coordinator, D'Amico Ryans, right? Ryans? Yep. Okay, yeah. You know, all of a sudden now he's up for head coaching jobs. But I got the Niners winning. McVay cannot beat Shanahan. He can't.
Lost his last
he's done it since they started coaching against each other. So I think the Niners got what it takes. They got the running game. Deebo Samuel I think he's established himself as a top 10, maybe top 5 player in the league this year. He's really transformed that 49ers team, in my opinion.
Yeah, and what I see about the team overall, it's about the attitude. They got this, like I said, the swag about themselves, and they not backing down for no one. And they've been the bullet. They've been acting like Deebo for real. And that's the mentality they're taking, and it shows up in the game. And I think that's what's so special about them.
But that defensive line, bro.
Yeah.
Like that defensive line, like that's the only position. But I think that's the only position in the teams that are still playing. I think like that's the only position. Like you just got to give the best defensive line playing now is the Rams. And I as good as the Chiefs are playing as a team collectively, but them 4 people coming off the ball with that blue and yellow on, they come in.
Aaron Donald, 94. Just
I don't even know who the third dude name is.
Yeah. Ramsey got beat last week though. I mean, he got beat pretty bad against Mike Evans.
Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I don't even want to get into that, but bro, that defensive line, bro.
Yeah, it's nasty.
It's a problem. Like that's the one thing that I think. Like it's a lot of good quarterbacks playing. Both teams can say my quarterback, whatever. Now you know, my running back is just as good as yours. You know, my defense, whatever. But that defensive line clearly is an advantage over all four teams that are still playing.
Yeah, but you know they're gonna find a way to slow that down at some point, though.
And that's all we got to do now. And listen,
all they got to do is start chip blocking on the way out. You start chip blocking both on the way out. You make him restart his feet.
Yeah.
He's gonna get his plays just because he's Bosa, but you can't forget about him. Even if you're gonna run away from him, I think you still got to pay attention to him because he'll run from sideline to sideline on you. And on the other side, with Von Miller being there, just closing the gap, meeting each other at the quarterback. Once he got acclimated to, what the Rams were doing, he's been showing up ever since. Mm-hmm. If he's not getting the pressure, he's pushing another guy into the sack. So, I mean, he's been a great addition.
Yeah, and Kimble, on the other side, on the AFC, the Bengals come in here. They beat us in Week 17 in Cincinnati. They're coming in here. They're a young team, but this is in Arrowhead. The Chiefs have been in this spot for the last 4 years. We mentioned that. Their 4th AFC championship game in a row at home, the last 2 Super Bowls. I mean, this has just got to be the more experienced team coming out on top, right?
Oh, absolutely. And that's what I believe. We have that advantage, but also one thing I do know as a player, you got to play the game. I believe it's going to be a good game. It's going to probably be going down to a similar situation last week. Last team at the ball may win, so it's going to be, I don't foresee it just being a blowout because they coming in, taking care of their business well. So I can just see the game going down to the wire, and it should be exciting. It might be one of those heartbeat type of games where you're going to be losing your mind, but, hopefully come out with the win.
Vaughn, I know you live in the Chiefs force field there, but tell us like what the mood is like, what the fervor is like around the Cincinnati Bengals right now. What's the city, what's kind of the collective mood? Do they feel like they're playing kind of with house money after going to Tennessee? Joe Burrow gets sacked 9 times and to still be able to stand up and win that. I mean, what's the Cincinnati, what's the mood like right there right now?
The whole city is at a buzz. I mean, they are geeked here. Extremely key. It's been so long since they even been in the playoffs that every win is like the Super Bowl to them. So they're going to approach this next game just like it's their Super Bowl. I don't want us to take them lightly. They are a good team. They're going to come in there. They're going to be ready to play. And I think it's going to come down to the fewest mistakes made. The team that hurts themselves the least is going to probably win this game. As far as quarterbacks, of course, I'm going to go with ours. They have a great receiver in Chase that they really rely on, and he's fast as heck. But I think with Honey Badger being back there, and especially now having some film on those guys, he's going to, get our guys ready for that. I think Big Dirty Dan is going to have a big game. Every time we don't expect anything from him, here comes Dirty Dan.
Well, I don't expect anything from him, so I guess you're right, Vaughn.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I want to talk about the right tackle and the right guard for the Bengals. Okay, because last week they were getting just told up from the flow up. Okay, he didn't get 9 sacks from not from going out the pocket or something. He didn't have any time to throw. Joe Burrow didn't. So I'm looking for Frank Clark and Melvin Ingram and company and Chris Jones to have a huge day. And fellas, I'm a very humble guy. I'm down to earth. I think we're gonna blow these guys out. I really do. I think the Chiefs, like Vaughn, you said it earlier, got film on them. Yeah. I think they know what to do in those third and long situations and not bring an all-out blitz and play man coverage against the hottest rookie receiver in the league. I think Spags learns from his mistakes. And I really see the Chiefs moving away from the Bengals in the third quarter or so.
Well, it's going to be hard to get Chris Jones to flip sides this game. After seeing that game tape from last week. I mean, I know he's licking his lips waiting on that guard.
Yeah, buddy.
I expect for him to get about 2 or 3 sacks.
Yeah, that's what I say too, man, is looking at the last game, man, and knowing, I mean, they can go out and get somebody, but it's hard to find somebody now that's going to be able to hold up. And, we're going to have to double chase. And those long yardage situations, man, we got to rely on that front four, double chase, and take some chances on some other guys, making plays. But we cannot let those two things, those two key defensive aspects, not be exploited in the game. That is an absolute must.
Yeah, don't forget, they got a couple more weapons now. They got a good running back.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not spreading anybody on the team.
Higgins.
Yeah, Mixon, all right.
But make him beat me. Like, Mixon got to beat me. If he going to beat me, okay, we got to make an adjustment.
I'd rather see if he could beat me. I agree with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll try to make the adjustment but going into the game, number one is not going to have a chance to beat me on no long plays. And then whatever number Burrows is, like, we got to get after his behind.
Yeah.
Brian, do you think that we sort of witnessed a perfect storm for the Chiefs to lose that game in Cincinnati? Because to me, it was literally a case of everything that could go wrong does go wrong. Byron Pringle gets a kickoff return for a touchdown, call back. You have pass. I'm still seeing flags flying, pass interference, holding in the defensive secondary, the entire last drive. We know how that went. Do you think that for them to have won that game right there, for them to secure the AFC North that day the way they did, that it was sort of a perfect storm, and that to try to replicate that, to try to do it on the road, especially the NFL guys, has done away with 2 things that I think has really helped these playoffs. There's no COVID and there's no flags. We're good.
Right.
Man, the no flags last week was refreshing, wasn't it, gentlemen? Wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
It was beautiful. And there was a hold here and there. I remember 39 was holding Tyreek on one of his long touchdown runs, but he got away with it. But the point of the matter is, Joe Burrow made a mistake this week. First off, let me answer your question. I'll get to the Joe Burrow mistake later. Your first question, repeat the question again, Clint.
Do you believe it was a perfect storm that lined up for the Bengals the first time? Yeah,
I really do. I think that she's got ahead by like 3 possessions at some point in that game. I believe it was in the second quarter or so. Chiefs got up 3 possessions. Of course, Chase goes off, start making mistakes for the Chiefs. You get the holding penalty on Zane Anderson on that kick return you mentioned from Byron Pringle. So there were a lot of fluky things. And you reminded me of the last minute of the game where the refs just totally botched the end of that game I think the Bengals got away one. That's fine. You can have that. But now in the championship game, none of that's going to happen. At least I don't think it will. And I want to say this. Joe Burrow made a mistake. Young man, you are from the SEC. And yes, those stadiums are loud.
Yeah.
All right. But sir, and you three gentlemen can attest to this.
Yes, sir.
Y'all been on that field multiple times in the prime of Arrowhead Stadium when it was its loudest. Okay, you ain't seen nothing or heard nothing like Arrowhead Stadium, Joe Burrow. And he challenged the fans, and that's something you can't do in Kansas City. No. You cannot do that. I believe the fans are going to be belligerent Saturday night going into Sunday morning. Okay, they're going to be in Arrowhead at midnight Sunday morning waiting to get in that parking lot and take a piece of Joe Burrow's head off. And I know we're happy we got the early game on that. So I think that's going to be a big X factor for Joe Burrow and the Bengals. He opened up something that he shouldn't have.
Hey, they're gonna be at the hotel Saturday night.
Oh my goodness, bro.
Hey, remember
yeah, he don't understand, bro. He don't understand the hornet's nest that he just shook. Yeah. It's gonna be exciting, man. I can't wait to get there, man. I'm excited. And I agree with you, B. I think at some point in this game, I think one of the stars are going to just have a dynamic game on offense. I don't know who it is. I just feel like Tyreek or maybe McKinnon, maybe it's Clyde. Somebody going to have a big game this week because I think the way they try to play defense a little bit, it's going to give those guys some opportunities for runs after the catch, man. And I see at some point, late second, early third quarter, I think the Chiefs going to pull away, and it'll be a pretty decisive win, man.
Yeah, and we've talked about not taking this era for granted, Patrick Mahomes for granted. So it's a 3-minute clip. I want to go back to that final 13 seconds and then kind of go a little bit behind the scenes. You see kind of what Travis Kelce was doing. Maybe he orchestrated that last 13 seconds. So we're going to take a look at this. And then we're going to come back and view the contrast of that years ago and why we shouldn't take this for granted. So let's watch this.
It's Chris Jones who shakes his head. Can't believe it. Can't believe that defense got beaten up like that. So this here's Hill.
They're going to have a chance.
And we call timeout quickly.
They actually have a chance to get Butker in field goal range here. Chiefs, wow, that was a great play call.
Picked up 19 to win it now. They need about 15 yards to have one of those long-range Hail Mary kicks.
Got to throw it right away, right now to someone in the middle.
Down the middle. Oh, my goodness. It's going to be a 48-yard attempt. Only 48 yards. That's what it'll be.
When Kelce moved his leverage inside, I was like, he's going to throw this right here over the middle quickly.
How do you let him get that open?
It's because you're protecting the end zone a little bit for some reason. But honestly, rushing 4 guys, I don't love. He's got to throw it instantly. Rush. You put one guy on Kelce, run that same defense, but that extra rusher should be guarding someone. You're not going to get to him. Wow, only Mahomes gets you in an easy field goal range.
It's going to be 49 yards is what it is. 49 yards to send it to overtime. Harrison Butker.
I'm so nervous.
So are hundreds of thousands around the planet. The kick is good. It's going to overtime.
Whatever quarterback has the ball last will win. Oh, well, guess what? They'll just give me 3 seconds. I'll just get down and, oh my gosh, this is the most perfect quarterback play to finish a full quarter, like maybe ever. I mean, this is unbelievable back and forth. Big plays, smart plays. Oh.
Well, if Buffalo doesn't win this game, they're going to rue the fact that Mahomes had only 13 seconds starting at his own 25-yard line, and he was able to get all the way down to the 31 of the Bills against the number 1 defense, number 1 pass defense in the league.
Remember back in the day whenever it used to be like playing it safe, you know, the 2 minutes, like the protecting.
They might man you up. I'm saying go outside and come back in like you're running a route outside. Okay. That way when you come back in, I can get in the way.
They actually have a chance to get Butker in field goal range here.
Hey. They're playing like that. That seam is open.
8 seconds left, down 3.
So, Kimble, just starting there with you, just talk about that offense. Travis Kelce, what he was able to do, a football savant out there, kind of telling Tyreek what he sees, what he's able to do. And then on his own route, man, if they're going to play it like that, I got the seam. And Patrick Mahomes says, do it, we got it.
Hey, that is smart football. There's a team that know what's going on at all times. You can see even before we went to overtime, that everybody was calling timeout. They knew exactly what was going on. Everybody's on the same page. And then, the communication amongst the players. Like I say, one thing at the end of the day, we have to play the game. So they've been very well coached, but they understand the game. They study a lot of film, and, they make it happen. So, it's hard to say, but if they don't make it work, then it'd be blamed on them. But at the same time, they went out and took a chance, and they made it work. I mean, that's the beauty about football, because it's more a mental thing than just physical, So being in that caliber of play, that's what you got to make a tough decision. And they went on and made it, and it worked out for them. So great job.
Donnell, did you have anything to add to that? Anything you saw?
No, I mean, just like Kimble said, man, those guys out there playing the game, and to be on a team where I think we was talking about it earlier backstage, where coach relies on the players to play the game and they coach the game. That's what it's all about, man. It was in every aspect. I think the officiating was good. I think the coaching was good, and the playing was damn good. So you can't ask for anything more than that in the game.
And then Vaughn on the defensive side of the football for the Buffalo Bills, they play 4 down linemen, which I thought was interesting. Mahomes has to get rid of the ball quickly because of the time on the clock. They're playing the outsides for the out of bounds. They're playing deep so they don't get beat over their heads for a touchdown, but they leave the middle wide open when they know the Chiefs have a timeout, or maybe that's why they played that. They didn't realize the Chiefs still had a timeout. What'd you see on the defensive side of the ball for the Bills in that last 13 seconds?
I think they were trying to make us use our timeout. Give us the middle of the field so we can take as much of the clock off as possible. I think it was a mistake on their part. Whether we get the sideline or the timeout, we're going to stop the clock and have a chance to win the game with a field goal. Giving up the middle did nothing for them. As far as Kelce calling his own plays, I think that's just an extension of him being a coach on the field, for the coaches. We learn, we see so much in film study to where once we notice something, sometimes we don't have time to relay that back to the sideline. Hey, quarterback, this is what I'm seeing. If you see that, let's go with it. And it worked out great.
Well, we just witnessed 2 plays and 40 yards to send a game to overtime. Noah, Brian, we know that things weren't always quite so rosy when it came to trying to attempt a comeback. We have a little clip prepared to sort of contrast what happened on Sunday versus what happened. Noah, this was, I believe, from 2014 against the Arizona Cardinals. 7 yards and 7 plays.
75 was terrible that game on the line.
It's impossible.
No. Travis Kelce fumbled this game.
Don't do it, bro.
We have to do it. Here it is. 7 yards and 7 plays.
No.
We love this game.
The Chiefs, out of timeouts, have plenty of time to get down the field and get themselves in field goal range. 1:09 to play. Smith looking to the sideline, throws complete to Charles out of bounds. Going the other way, and that is complete and brought down to the 30-yard line, and they'll wind the clock. Jason Avant couldn't reach the sideline. Well, it's interesting to see Alex Smith. That's a 3-step throw. It's a quick out route, and Lorenzo Alexander was all over Alex Smith, taking him to the ground right after that throw. The pressure is continuing on Alex Smith. Smith, quick slant. That is complete for the first down across the 35 to Avant. 35 seconds to play. You would think they're going to have to spike it. They're just continuing to use up clock here. They're moving receivers from one side to the other, wasting a lot of time. Threw it away, which could have been done. Could have spiked it seconds ago, sure.
Ball start. Offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty.
That's Eric Fisher, the left tackle. You're going to have to take a shot, especially if the Cardinals bring pressure. Take up the shot up the field and try and get either a big completion or a pass interference. Quick pass to the far side and through the hands of Albert Wilson. Smith. Deep sideline, pattern incomplete. On the blitz, incomplete over the middle. And that'll do it.
He's trying to dump it to a crossing route with 11 seconds left. The clock's going to run out either way.
Captain check down, Brian. I can just see on your face you have a lot to say, so I'm going to go to you.
First off, I vividly remember that game because Jamal Charles, it was the Eric Berry game because Bruce Arians had wore like a Eric Berry shirt because that was after Eric Berry had cancer after the Thursday night football game against the Raiders. So that's why this game is very vivid. It's also vivid because Jamal Charles got like a 60-yard runoff in this game, and Travis Kelce fumbled at the end before that drive. It was before that drive. We didn't have much time left. He fumbled. They punted. And then 75, Mike McGlynn. He's another reason why I remember that game. He was awful. And the reason why he was awful, I was looking at the highlights. He was going against Calais Campbell. So I totally understand now. But, you know, Alex Smith missing that screen to the left to Albert Wilson, that really that stood out to me because Patrick doesn't miss those screens like that. You hit that screen, I think that the Cardinals have to play differently at that point. So I love Alex Smith. I really do. And I love what he did for our organization. He really brought stability after the likes of Matt Castle and the other cast of characters that we had at quarterback. I don't miss those days where in the fourth quarter we were down by, more than 3. It was kind of iffy on we was going to get it done or not. But you really got to appreciate Patrick Mahomes and what he's able to do. He got 40 yards, and you said in less than 13 seconds.
10, yeah. So that was the exact opposite of what we just witnessed on Sunday. And to think that Trent Green, I think there said, well, they've got plenty of time. Well, we sure did. There was a 1:09 on the clock. I mean, it was just unbelievable to think about that.
To get 7 yards.
Wow. And look at that. Look at how the defense was playing Alex Smith too. I wish Patrick Mahomes could see a defense like that, boy. Lord.
Yeah.
Well, Patrick Mahomes values time and yards, and he knew what he had to get and how much time he had to get it. And Alex Smith was just taking what the defense gave him. He didn't value the time, the yards that he needed to get into field goal range to tie that game. He's just, I'm taking what the defense gives me. Hopefully my guys can get out of bounds, do whatever. He didn't clock the ball. He's trying to move receivers to the other side, didn't value time or yardage, and that's why we lost a lot of those close games.
I don't know if y'all noticed it, but that first run he had, he was moving, bro. I did not know he was that fast. That first run he had down on the left side, Mahomes. He was moving, bro.
I think that's the fastest I've ever seen Mahomes run.
Bro, he was moving, bro. I know the defense was like, dang, I ain't know he was that fast.
He put his head
against
down.
the Titans in that AFC Championship game where he got that touchdown.
Although he never really had a chance to take off and just straight line on that one. I mean, he maneuvered to the sidelines, bound off a guy. There was a lot more maneuvering on that one. Just an unbelievable run, but this time, like actually to take off straight line speed ahead. I don't know if we've seen that quite yet. And I mean, both quarterbacks led their teams in rushing, which is crazy.
Yeah, he was moving now.
It's going to be insane, guys. This is what we do it for. This Sunday is why we do what we do. It's why you play football. It's why you talk about football. It's the AFC Championship game. We can't wait, guys. We can't thank everyone enough for joining us here on 4-Minute Offense. It is a wonderful pleasure each and every week to have our cast of characters that wind up joining us. We've run the gambit this year, guys, and we hope we have some more to do because we hopefully have a Super Bowl coming up to talk about here in LA. Guys, thanks so much for being a part of 4-Minute Offense. Take her easy and enjoy the games, guys.
All right, man. See y'all this weekend. I see you, Kimble.
All right, guys.
All right, Book, you coming in town?